for coming to the 2021 Internet Marketing Plan webinar. Really what we're doing here is we're getting clear on what we're doing in 2021. I know there's a couple people here that have a lot of crews. Jeff, I see you. I think you guys have like, I don't know, 1,000 crews. There's other companies on here that might have just 2 crews or just 1 crew. Regardless where you're at right now, you need to get clear on where you're going. There's a famous quote by Yogi Berra that says, you've got to be careful if you don't know where you're going because you might not get there, right? So if you don't know where you're going in your business, you're most likely not going to get there. So that's what we're doing here today. And what we're going to cover is setting goals, right? I'm a big believer in setting goals. So what we're going to do is we're going to set goals for 2021 and really how many leads you need to get to hit your target. Leads, appointments, installs, and so forth. We're also going to go over the 3 fundamentals of marketing success, how to optimize your website for conversion in 2020 and beyond. A lot of people think that organic rankings, SEOs, websites that convert are not needed anymore. So I'll go over exactly what you need to do with your website in 2021. Also, the big picture. There's a big picture that most people forget on online marketing. All the channels that you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow. The latest trends that you need to focus on in 2021. Is it YouTube ads? Is it Facebook ads, Instagram? What are you doing when it comes to internet marketing? And then towards the end, we're really going to develop a custom action plan based on where you're at now, right? So some of you are right here and you want to get over here. So we need to have an action plan on how to bridge that gap. Also, if you guys are sitting, I want you to pull out a notepad. I want this to be as interactive as possible. So pull out a notepad, pull out a pen, and put some pen to paper here. There's going to be some interactive slides where you guys can actually write things down on your own. So make sure that you guys are interacting there and tapping into that, because if you guys are just listening and you're not going to actually put these things into practice, most likely they're not going to get done, right? They're not going to get done if you don't write things down. Also, I need your attention. I am going to be here with my full attention to you guys. So all I ask in return is that you guys give us your undivided attention as well. So some quick house cleaning, right? Or housekeeping rather. Turn your cell phones off or put them on vibrate, put them on silent, turn them down so you guys can be plugged in. Turn off Facebook, Slack, whatever you guys have for communication. And if you're a concrete coating or painting company, you're the business owner, you're a sales manager, you're an operations manager, and you're serious about growing your company or your organization, you really want to pay attention during these next 60 to 90 minutes because you're going to get extremely better results on what the things on the things that we're going to teach. Also, if you stay till the end, I have some goodies for you. So I have a 2021 internet marketing checklist. It's really like a step-by-step guide that you can really just check off. So you have like things you can actually check off right here. And if you're not doing any of these, if you didn't check it off, you're most likely leaving money on the table. And if you stay to the end, I have a special offer for you. We're going to call it our holiday special. So who am I and why should you listen to me? I've been in the home improvement industry for years, and I'm the co-owner of Cardinal Concrete Coatings here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Davis Construction Marketing, our company, and myself are associate members of the PCA, which is the Painting Contractor Association, the ASCC, which is the American Society of Concrete Contractors, the DCC, which is the Decorative Concrete Council, and the CPC, which is the Concrete Polishing Council. And actually, I got invited a couple months ago to sit on the social media committee for the American Society of Concrete Contractors. So also, I'm a mentor inside of a 7-figure agency coaching program, and where we train other marketing agencies how to deliver better results and how to make a bigger impact in their clients' lives. Obviously, I'm the CEO of Davis Construction Marketing. We have 20 employees. I'm widely accepted as the premier expert in the internet marketing space for concrete coating and painting companies. And by now we've worked with concrete coating and painting companies all across the country. And guys, this is what we do, right? We only work with concrete coating and painting companies. This is all we do. We live and breathe marketing. We live and breathe this industry. This is what we do. And and we're on a mission to double or triple the sales of 500 concrete coating and painting companies. So let's pause the brakes just for a second, and I want to ask a question. So what is the hardest part about marketing your concrete coating or painting business? Again, with keeping in mind, there's people on here that have, that are doing multi-millions, that have, 10, 15 crews, and there's other folks on here that only have one crew. So this can be specific to you, but if you want to post that in the chat, you can. If you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. Ideally, you would write that down right here. You would, maybe put some bullets here and ask yourself, what is the hardest part about marketing your business? You'd put those things right here as questions, and they can still be questions for now. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and post in the chat. I'm very curious to see, what is your biggest pain point? Some of the things that, that we hear over and over is, why do I need to market my business online? There's a lot of companies that are still doing billboards, radio, direct mail, all of those things work. And sometimes they work so well, and you're kind of stuck there. So you might ask yourself, why do I need to market online? Some people, I hear this a lot too. There's so many options: YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, PPC, Google Maps optimization, Google My Business. There's so many options. And so you're unclear where to spend your money. Another question that we hear is that, a concern rather, is it's a major investment. In the home improvement space, I would say the average is about 8% that you need to spend on marketing. So, if you want to make $100,000 a month, you most likely need to spend around $8,000 that month to reach that gross revenue goal. So it's a major investment. A lot of people are scared of that. I see a little chat in here. Jason says, tire kickers that are not ready to convert, he put convert right away. That's a big issue. Actually, we're going to be going over some of those things. So, make sure you stay on. Probably in about 20 minutes, we'll get there. A lot of people, this is a huge one. Danny, I know that we have this one a lot, is people come in and we talk with them, and there's nothing to show for what they have. Whether it was a marketing agency, a pay-per-lead program, maybe they did SEO, whatever it was, they didn't have much to show for it.
Absolutely.
Yep. And really what I see when you think about planning, going back to Yogi Berra, right? If you don't have a clear plan, you can overspend, or worse, underspend and underperform. So essentially, when it comes to marketing, that would be considered a fail. And one of the things that we want to do here with setting these goals is we want to have success, right? We don't want to fail in 2021. 2020 has been a crazy roller coaster of a ride, right? But there's been people that have really excelled in the home improvement space. Most of the people that have really taken their business to that next level had a lot of things in place, a lot of infrastructure. They were already marketing. They were spending money on social media and different outlets. And most likely they had some sort of plan that they were sticking to. So that's what we want to do here, is we want to maximize our lead flow and hit our sales goals in 2021. So number one, we need to set clear goals, right? So let's just stop for a second. What are your goals for 2021? If you haven't thought about this at all, write them down. Underneath those questions, put what are your goals for 2021 and start writing those things down. Like I mentioned earlier, you've got to be careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there. You have to have a clear idea of where you're going. What I see a lot of companies in the concrete coating space, in the painting space, or even in any business, they don't have any goals. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. And it's kind of like a sailboat out at sea. There's with no wind, right? You're just there. You don't know really where you're going. You don't know how to get there. You don't know how fast you need to go to get there. You're just kind of floating out in the water. I know I felt like that at certain times. What you want to do by setting your goals is you want to get some wind in your sails. When you have wind in your sails, you're going forward. You're going in the direction where you want to go, because you can actually control the wind with the sailboat, and you can determine where you want to go. You can, a lot of times determine how quickly you want to go as well. So we want to get wind in your sails by setting these goals. And one important thing here that I was researching is it's not just, specific to, any business, any industry at all. Harvard did a study in 1979 with a bunch of graduates, and it was about goals. So in this Harvard study, 84% had no specific goals. So that's a lot of people. They had no clue what was going on. They had no goals. 13% had goals but not written down. So they had goals in their head, but they didn't write them down, right? 3% had clear written goals and plans to accomplish them. So you can imagine what the results might be. The 13% of the class who had goals were earning on average twice as much as the 84% who had no goals at all. So you can say, out of all the coding industry, the painting industry, if you just think about your goals, you're going to beat those guys out there that, all your competition that do not have goals, like even mustering the thought of a goal. Even more staggering, the 3% who had clear written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the 97% put together. So we need to get clear on our goals. We need to write them down, and we're going to do better than most people just by doing that basic act, that basic exercise. So I've kind of put together some goal setting framework here. You need to have written goals and plans. Okay. You need to set at a minimum a 1-year goal, quarterly goals, and monthly goals. I'm a big believer of Phil Wickman Traction, the EOS system. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of this. If you've heard of Phil Wickman and you've read any of his books, post a 1 in the chat. Let's see how many like Phil Wickman in Traction. Post a 1 in the chat if you know what Traction is, or if you know what EOS is at all. EOS is awesome. One of the things that he goes over in here is goals and having a clear idea of where you're going. So this is what I believe. You must have a stopping point at the beginning of each new year and the end of each quarter to reflect. Basically, you want to know how you did, how did you do based on what you have set for your goal and what you're going to do going forward. So, it's December 16th, 2020. So at the end of Q1 next year, you should look back and say, hey, did I have a good quarter? If you did, well, let's define what helped us get there. What did we do? What did we put in place? Was it systems, processes, certain marketing? Did we hire a new marketing firm? Whatever it might be, we want to look at that. If we didn't hit our goals, we need to look at that too, because we don't want Q2 to be like a bad Q1, right? So you have to have a stopping point. So at a minimum, you need to have a 1 year, quarterly, and monthly, because when you look at a goal, as 1 year out, it's hard to actually really practically put that into place on a daily basis. So you bring that down to quarterly. And even then, for us humans, right, it's hard to practically put in place a quarterly goal. So you go down to monthly, and that makes it a little bit easier. So having a monthly goal, that time frame from the beginning of the month to the end of the month is doable, and then you can break that down to weekly as well. So you must have a stopping point for sure. So what are your goals for 2021? What is your revenue target? How much is that monthly? How many leads, appointments will that require? What is the average transaction value for you? That's a big one. So here's some of the data that you can use as reference. So what is your revenue target? Let's say it's 1.5 million for 2021. Well, that's 125 grand every month. And so if you break down an average transaction value, for us here at Cardinal Concrete Coatings in Scottsdale, the company that I co-own, our average transaction value is about $3,400. So an average, let's say we're conservatively speaking here, an average conversion rate from lead to sold install might be 30%. Some people are lower, some people are higher. I'm just going to talk in conservative numbers here. What you want to do is multiply your lead target by your conversion rate, which is, if you got a 30% conversion rate, that I need about 120 leads at a 30% to get 36 installs, right? I need 36 installs with my average transaction value to hit 125 grand a month. So you need to have these things broken down. So what I would recommend is that you take a minute here real quick, whether it's right now or shortly after the webinar, write these things down. What is your revenue target? What is that in monthly? Determine what your average transaction value is, because then that's going to help you scale that. How many leads do you need? How many appointments do you need? What is your lead to appointment ratio? Are you doing in-home sales? Are you doing virtual sales? You need to figure these things out, because if you don't, you're going to miss the boat. And most likely you're not going to hit the revenue or add that next crew or that 25th crew, 30th crew. You need to have these clear things, these things written down clearly. So again, I'll ask you, what is your goal for 2021? And how many leads will you need monthly to get there? All right. So let's get back to the fundamentals here. Let's transition into fundamentals. When it comes to marketing, there's so many other things outside of internet marketing that we all should be doing, right? Whether it's, our trailers are wrapped, we're doing direct mail, whatever it may be. You have a really good sales process, sales training, install training, whatever it is. You have fundamentals in all those things, right? If you're painting the exterior of a home, you have a system, you have fundamentals. Well, on marketing, you have that same thing. We have message, market, and media. And I believe that at the beginning of every new year, you should take a look at these fundamentals. Make sure that everything's correct. Is your website up to date? Is your Facebook page up to date? Is your internet marketing up to date with the current message, current trends of what's going on? So you might need to update your marketing message. And you might want to figure out who your ideal customer is. Once you know who your ideal customer is, you're going to be able to really determine your marketing message, right? Because if you know who you're speaking to, you can really determine how you want to speak to them and the best way to do that. So part of this is figuring out your ideal customer avatar. What are their goals, frustrations, pains, dreams, aspirations? In the concrete coating space, in the painting space, at some services can be a little bit different, in terms of the customer avatar. In a lot of ways, it's the same. But there are some differences. So you might want to outline that. There's a lot of painting contractors that we work with that do concrete coatings and do painting. It might be a different avatar. Is it a need, right? Is it is my home falling apart and I need new siding on my home? Well, that's most likely a need, might be a different customer avatar. If it's a want product that you're selling, if you're selling concrete coatings, it's a want product in most cases, unless it's super bad pitting or so forth. So you need to determine that. Here's some things that we came up with for a customer avatar. And again, these can vary, especially in the world we live in now, right? There's a lot of different things going on. But demographics, typically a homeowner, 35 plus years old. Sometimes they're a little younger, there's times where we close, guys that are 30, 32, things like that, of course. But what we found is that 60% are male, 40% are female. It's about average. They're typically married with kids or grandkids, typically head of the household, 100K plus an annual household income, depends on where you're at. If you're in the Midwest, might be a little different. If you're in, Arizona, California, it could be a little different as well. So you need to determine these things. This isn't necessarily like what you should go by, but you need to determine these things for yourself. This is what we found for ourselves here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Typically, they're family oriented, reliable, likes having nice things, not very handy, likes cars, off-roading, sports, lives in the suburbs, needs to keep up with the Joneses. Some pains might be concrete floors cracking, pitting, moisture. The exterior of the home is fading. The cabinets are fading. They're old. They're outdated. We get this a lot here in Arizona. The cool deck, everyone's putting cool deck down. The cool deck is fading or it's cracking. We fix a lot of cool deck out here. So those are some typical demographics and pains and frustrations. And then there's fears, goals, desires. You guys need to write these down and figure these things out. These are going to help you really with anything offline and online marketing. A lot of this is really going to help on your website too. Is your website speaking to this person? So you need to determine some fears, being ripped off, right? Everyone has a story where they've been ripped off by a contractor, so you need to make sure that you understand that that's potentially how they're feeling. They're worried about paying too much. having home damaged, being inconvenienced by a long project, finding a trusted company. A lot of their goals are typically going to be along these lines. They want to get things fixed. They want to have this issue behind them. They want to have a nice garage floor. They want to have a nice new home painted. They want to be able to think, have their neighbors and their friends and their family, look at them as, hey, I have my things together. So that is very common. And really, this is a really good exercise. If you can see Joan Jones through Joe Jones's eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys, right? So if you know who you're selling to, you know everything about them, you can speak to them much, much better. So I want you to revisit that. What is your message? What is your market? What is your media? And really craft that message. So here's going to take a little minute, like of a pause here. I know I've gone kind of fast, so hopefully you're tracking along with me. But go ahead real quick and ask that question to yourself. Why should someone choose to do business with you versus the competition? You can put more than 3 things, but typically, the top 3 reasons are obviously the most important and what you should have really on your, above the fold on your website. So ask yourself, why should someone choose to do business with you versus the competition? I have my sparkling water, guys. Hopefully you guys aren't judging me. I have black cherry sparkling water. My wife, I had an issue drinking Dr. Pepper is what I had. So my wife made me switch over to sparkling water. So next you want to ask yourself, what benefits do you offer that your target customer avatar will resonate with? Do you offer financing? Does your person care about financing? There's a good chance they do. Do they care about a warranty? What sets you apart from the next person? What is your warranty? Is your warranty a 1-year warranty and then your competition is offering a 15-year warranty or a 20-year warranty? Things like that. You need to be aware of those things. That way, when you write them down, you can update your messaging to your avatar. Here's some of the things that we found that works. Having a 50-year warranty. I know it sounds insane, right? But if your competitor offers a 3-year warranty and you offer a 50-year warranty, and that's simply on your website, you get more conversions because people are more interested. They might even wonder, hey, what does that warranty cover? Boom, you're on the phone with them. They're a potential lead. Versus if somebody goes across a website and there's a 3-year warranty, they might look elsewhere. Lifetime warranty. So is your warranty up to date? Are you willing to do a warranty? Are you willing to stand by your quotes for 365 days or just 14 days? People don't like that. Do you have high quality products? Do you have new equipment? Is it good equipment? These are the things that you can put on your website. People like hearing these things when they're on websites, when they're on your Google My Business. There's a little headline that you can throw on your website. The best concrete coating company in Arizona. People like hearing that stuff. It speaks volumes. So when you don't say things like this, there's another website. Your competition could be beating you and getting more conversions than you on their website by just simply putting headlines and benefits. The trusted painting contractor in Scottsdale, Arizona. Things like this. You can really start making the case for yourself without even speaking to somebody by saying things like 1-day concrete coatings, money saving offers. Is there an offer on your website for somebody to opt in? People like money. I mean, just like when you go, let's say you go to Costco and something's on sale, right? You get more incentivized to do that. So if somebody's on your website, give them a reason to convert. Do you have a 100% satisfaction guarantee? Do you have clean cut professional painters? We'll leave your home cleaner than we found it. These are different things that you can market yourself as. You can have benefits. So what is your message? I am asking for somebody. Let's hear some of people's marketing messages. So one thing that sets you apart from your competition, if you want to post it in the chat, at the very minimum, you should write that down. And really, guys, if you guys take good notes today, you can have a meeting with your leadership team and go over all these things and start implementing these things. So go ahead and post in the chat if you feel comfortable what your marketing message is going to be. And once you determine these things here that we've gone over, then you can look at the media. So you need to figure out the message first, and now we can look at the media. So one of the most important things that you want to do really in any business that is in the home improvement space, but specifically concrete coating and painting companies, you want to make sure that your hub converts. You want to make sure that your website converts, right? Because you could be spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube, Nextdoor, whatever it may be. Even if you're sending out direct mail, what do you think somebody is going to do when they get a direct mail piece? So, you know, I'm Joe Jones sitting on my recliner. I see this beautiful flyer for TSR concrete coatings, for you know, Cardinal concrete coatings, for, you know, Arizona's painting company. Where am I going to go? I'm going to go to their website. I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to find them. So you got to make sure that your hub converts. So, you know, is your website set up to convert visitors into callers? You guys should have tracking numbers on your website, things like that. You need to have a phone number in the top right-hand corner or top left-hand corner as a given. You need to give them avenues to complete a form. Do you have widgets on your website? Something like, you know, a texting widget, a Facebook widget, something like that. You need to make sure that your website is set up to convert visitors into callers. And here's some other things that we kind of outlined. Is your website set up for conversions? Does it speak to your target avatar? Does it address their fears, their frustrations? Speak to the why. The why. Everyone's got a why. When you're doing a kitchen remodel, you have a why. When you're buying a new car, you have a why. Everyone's got a why at all times. And the quicker you understand their why and you speak to that, you're going to be speaking directly to them. Does your website have authentic images of your team to the homepage and throughout the website? Refrain from using like very stock images. I know you can have really nice images, but very, very stock images, stay away from those. Does your video have a welcome video, application process video, maybe a video like customer testimonials? Basically, you can also have videos explaining why someone should contact you versus the competition because they're on your website. All of these little things, we're trying to get a higher conversion rate because websites in general have such a small, tiny little conversion rate. So any little thing like this is going to increase that. Are you showcasing your online reviews with different tools like Birdeye, Review Buzz, High Level? Does it make it easy for them to take action? It's crazy. I go into a website and it's like some of the companies are preventing somebody from contacting them because the website's at the very bottom in the footer. The get quote button is not anywhere visible. So you want to make sure those things are nice and visible. You got to get the basics in order. Phone number in the right-hand corner. Ensure there's a web form that customers can fill out. Add credibility. Do you donate to charity? Are you a veteran? Is there veterans on your leadership team or your ownership team? Things like this, the BBB, even symbols like Angie's List, Home Advisor can help. An offer to claim. You want to have something, you want to give somebody a reason to opt in. Call to actions, things like this. So your website. Pull your website right now. Pull your website up if you have the opportunity on your other screen or on your other screen, and write down what your website needs. Is it struggling? Is it amazing? Maybe you don't need to change anything. I know there's some folks on here that I went and looked at some websites and I'm like, dang, that website's really nice. So maybe you don't need to change anything. Maybe you just need to add more reviews or maybe update with new photos from this month or last month. But write down, pull your website up and ask yourself, is it built to convert? And it's okay to be honest with yourself here because the cool thing is that you can hire a company like us. You could try to do it yourself. You could hire another company and you can fix this. It's not the end of the world. Obviously we build websites here. So you could hire us, but there's a lot of companies out there that you can hire to build websites. So it's not the end of the world. Now that we have some of those things kind of dialed in, some fundamentals, one thing that I've been hearing a lot in the industry is the biggest marketing issue, really, is facing unconverted leads. This is like one of the biggest issues that we hear about. And here in a second, I'm going to invite a quick speaker. I have a bonus spotlight session for you guys that's going to talk about this. But here's the problem: 50 to 80% of inbound leads leave unconverted, right? So 90% of web forms fail to convert. Facebook leads have an average 20% closing ratio. There's ways to get that higher on sales process and follow up and all these different things that I'm going to go over, but on average, it's like 20%. If you're higher, then you're doing a lot of things right. But on average, it's 20%. Google ads have an average of 45% closing ratio. So let's say you bring in 100 people from Facebook, you close 20 of them. Well, there's 80 people that haven't closed. Same with Google. If you bring in 100 leads from Google, well, you have 45 that close, but what about the others? What are we doing with those? Here's some easy ways to convert people more. Here's some studies that I researched. Leads that are called in the first minute convert 391% higher. And you might be saying, Ryan, I am not going to be able to call leads in the first 60 seconds. And I get it. There's a lot of moving parts to running a business. But I can assure you, if you could do this, maybe it's hiring somebody to do this, but if you can call the lead in the first 60 seconds of them coming in, you're going to have a higher closing rate, higher conversion rate to appointment, and so forth. Because 78% of customers buy from the company that responds first. So if you're running a Facebook ad and they opt in, you most likely just put that person into the market because you kind of disrupted their news feed, right? They're interested. What do you think they do next? They go to Google and they look up other companies and they're researching, they're thinking about it. So if you call in the first 60 seconds, 78% of those people will buy from you. And if you push that first contact to the first 5 to 10 minutes versus the first 60 seconds, the response times decrease lead qualification by 80%. I mean, just imagine that, like decrease of 80%. So one of the things that we've done here at Cardinal, we're not perfect by any means, but we call the leads very, very quickly. And it increases a lot of the ratios. So here's the solution. Leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms, Facebook leads, Google leads within the first minutes of submission via phone, email, and text message. Also, there's some really cool things with the software that we offer. Voicemail drops. Voicemail drops are working really, really well. Literally, you can just like record an audio recording of yourself saying, hey, this is Ryan with Cardinal Concrete Coatings. Thank you so much for requesting some more information. We'll be right with you. You can drop that audio recording in their voicemail, which is pretty cool. But more importantly, you should have somebody dedicated from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. calling these people. Whether you do virtual estimates or in-person, in-home sales, whatever it is, you should be contacting them ASAP. And so these are some of the solutions that you can put in place because it really comes down to simple math, right? You look at the number of leads that you need. Going back a couple slides ago, we determined that, we know if I want to do 1.5 million a year, I need 120 leads a month minimum, right? And an average closing rate of 30% with no follow-up, you're going to book those 36 jobs. So 100 leads, 30%, right? Or sorry, this is wrong here. I meant to put 120. So 120 leads, 30% is 36 booked jobs. An average ticket of $3,400 is 36 times 3,400 is just under 125. So I know that, we're probably going to do those numbers or those goals that we're looking for. That sucks, right? Because there's a lot of people that did not convert. So this is great. But look at this, those same 120 leads. And if you can get that conversion rate up to 45% with the action items that we went over, just by 15%, an increase in conversion by 15%, look at the revenue difference, right? By simply, calling the leads within 60 seconds of them coming up, marketing automation, voicemail drops, and so forth, you can increase your revenue by not doing anything. You're not spending any more money or anything at all. So you can imagine how important that can be. So really what we're talking about here is trying to make every lead you generate more valuable, right? And I want to spotlight somebody here because this is somebody that, this is one of our clients, but this is somebody that grew extremely fast and has really determined a strategic way how to cut his lead cost in half on the front end. And you might say that's insane, right? But Danny, if you could spotlight Hunter, and let's do a tech check real quick. Danny, if you could spotlight Hunter, everyone, if you could drop a 1 in the chat, if everyone can see Hunter clearly, is he spotlighted? Let's drop a 1 in the chat if you can see him.
Can you guys hear me?
Can everyone hear Hunter? Beautiful.
Perfect.
Hunter, they're dropping yeses and ones.
Oh, perfect.
So I will let you take it away, brother.
Awesome, Ryan. Thank you so much. What we've talked about so far is super awesome. Actually, I love the goal setting aspect. And actually, there's something I wanted to read real fast too, because really what I'm going to talk about, in order for in sales, especially in like the coatings world, for us to stay motivated, it all comes down to, we really need to know our numbers, and we need to be, setting goals for those numbers as well as reporting. And there's this quote that I love that says, when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported, the rate of improvement accelerates, which I think is what we're all looking for. We're all looking for what's the most sustainable way that we can grow our company, because we don't want to grow too fast to where it's not sustainable, but we want to grow in the right way. And so we really need to be, how are we reporting kind of these goals? And so what we need to do is, you need to know your numbers. So those numbers that Ryan just said, all of us should have some of those memorized. We should know when we go on a quote, how many of those typically convert. So for example, when I'm going and I know that I got 6 quotes that day, and I know that my conversion rate is 40%, I'm hoping to close between 2 and 3 jobs that day. That's kind of the goal that I'm going in, which means that I'm expecting 2 or 3 of them to say no. And sales becomes so much easier when you know that, because someone says no, you're like, sweet, I just got to get through 2 more, and I got my next one. And so it all kind of comes to those goals. And something that we were really big on is we would take our lead cost. So we'd close a job, right? We'd say, okay, this crew closed 30 jobs this month, and we spent X amount on marketing. That means that each job costs, let's say $200 or $100, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we don't like that number. We want that number to be half or a third of that. What do we need to do? And really the easiest way that you can do that is, you should look at, whenever you get a lead, you should look at that as a prime territory for multiple other jobs. And so the system that we built is, once we get on a job, so it's been sold and we have techs on site, we usually have somebody who's going around and is canvassing the immediate neighborhood for about 1 hour to 2 hours. And again, it kind of comes down to our rep's numbers, because he knows, he's like, if I can talk to 7 people, I'll give one of them a quote. And if I can give 3 quotes, then I can close one of those jobs. And so they all kind of know their numbers in their heart. So they're like, okay, I'm expecting for 6 people to say they're not interested in a quote just to find the one. And it becomes much easier. And so the idea is, you're going in and you're trying to figure out how you can turn that one job into 2, 3, 4 other jobs. Because you should look at it, if you're doing a job in a neighborhood, that means most likely you are in a prime neighborhood for other clients. Mm-hmm. And keeping up with the Joneses is huge, especially if your trailer's wrapped or you're going and you're grinding and there's a ton of noise. Yep. And people are driving by and they're seeing all this stuff going on. A lot of them are like, oh, what's going on? So it's kind of already prepping them. And then you're just kind of going in and giving them the offer. And so typically we go in, and if we do one job, we're closing another 2 or 3 jobs that we didn't have to pay our ad spend or our marketing on. Mm-hmm. And that's how we equate to cutting our job cost down to about 2 or 3. Because we're able to come in, we're able to knock that down. And it's an easy sell, because a lot of times we're just inviting them, like, hey, they're finishing up the top coat right now. Do you have some time to come check it out real fast? Like, yeah, let's go look at it. They look at it. They instantly fall in love with the beautiful floor. You're going and looking at their quote. they're
Yeah.
talking with the client who his job is getting done. And, right then is when they're most stoked about their floor. And so you have your clients selling the other clients. It's really a prime environment for you to be able to close other jobs. In fact, a lot of our sales reps see higher close ratios from things like this than they do our leads. And so that's how we've been able to kind of convert it. Again, though, this all comes down to kind of your sales mentality. And that's why I talk about with our reps, we have a couple locations. By next quarter, we're probably going to have between 20 and 30 reps going around that are door knocking. And every single one of them, I'm like, you need to know your numbers by heart. Like, because when you go out on the doors, when you're going out on a quote, you need to know that half of them are going to say no, and you need to be okay with that, because that means the other half of you are going to pay you. And so once you know those numbers, it really it is a boost of mentality. And that's what customers like, when you're able to go and you're positive, you're assuming the sale, you're confident, just basic things like that.
Yeah. People
tend to gravitate more towards. And so one of the things that we've done, and I don't want to take too much Ryan's time, this is actually, I love everything
this
he's
is
saying.
good. If everyone likes what Hunter's talking about, I mean, I don't think anyone loves door knocking, but if you could have somebody that you could hire to hit 20 doors around your install crew and, get 4 additional quotes from that same customer, and then potentially get 2 more sold jobs from that same customer and cut your lead costs. I mean, post a 1 in the chat if that would be pretty amazing. I mean, I know we don't even do
it
this.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Literally every time we do it, though, it works, because we'd first do it and like, oh, that's cool, somebody who's actually interested from door knocking, and it still blows my mind every time. But sales is honestly almost a science. Sometimes it's a science of numbers. And so once you know those, it really makes everything easier. You don't even have to hire someone if you don't want someone, if you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to, I'm having a hard time finding a door knocker. Something that we found, it's also really easy to pay somebody, a certain way to just go and just knock and hand out flyers and ask them to come stop by the job, to where then you could quote them out if that's what you'd prefer. So there's other ways you could do it. The door knocking is just what's proved effective for us, but it's worked awesome. And so what I would invite you guys to do, though, is, and this is what we go over, we call it our client timeline. And so we build a timeline. We say from a month before we do our job to 5 years after our job, what do we want this client to do? What is the timeline that we want all of our clients to follow? And we draw out the optimum situations. So we say, okay, they're interested here. They close, we're door knocking, and we're laying it all out. And then we find our holes. And from there, that's how we set our goals, is we say, where are our holes? Where do we need to improve?
Right.
And it makes it really easy to report, because almost daily we'll look at that timeline with every client and we're like, where did we fall short? Right. And a lot of times where we always fall short is referrals or getting neighbors. And it's leads that you don't have to pay lead costs on, and it's going to save you a lot of money in the end run. So
awesome, man. Well, man, thank you so much for coming on, Hunter. Danny, if you could unspotlight Hunter.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, everyone, I know everyone's on mute, but if you could just give Hunter a round of applause, that was awesome. I know that was kind of offline marketing versus, your 2021 internet marketing plan, but I wanted to throw that bonus spotlight session in here. And really, we want to get this implemented for you, right? We want to implement this in your business. This is something that you can take away and do really like immediately. So don't pass up on that. You should have wrote those things down. If you need those numbers, just drop drop a 1 in the chat if you want those numbers. Danny, make sure you collect everyone that wanted those numbers. That way you could email them. Just drop that in the chat, so that way we could link you guys up with those details. So here's some action items that you can take away for your website. What 3 conversion elements will you implement on your website? So this is another, I told you guys I wanted to make this as engaging as possible. So you see me throwing this up quite a bit. You're probably like, Ryan, stop putting that notepad up. You see me putting this up and not writing on it, and I'm telling you guys to write on it. I know. But the more engaged that you guys are with this, the more you write things down, the more you're going to take away. The better, your time is going to be spent here. So write down 1, 2, and 3. What is the 3 conversion elements that you need to implement on your website? I know Hunter from Sparks. I know he has had some time building his own website. So you might have a longer list than 3, Hunter. No, I'm just kidding. Hunter's the man. But really, write those things down, because like you said, Hunter, what gets measured gets done. So at least you want to know what you need to implement. So if you guys could post in the chat, what are some takeaways so far? We're about halfway through or so. Some takeaways here. What have you learned so far with your website from what Hunter said? You can post it in the chat. At the very minimum, you should write these things down right here. What were your takeaways? What did you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share? I'm going to look at our chat here. Sweet. Anne said she's going to be adding a widget to the site. Sweet. And Anne, thank you so much. You've been so engaging on here. Every time I look at the chat, there's Anne. So thank you so much. I can't see you, but really appreciate that. Awesome. Sweet. Next, it's, knowing and tracking your KPIs. Like what Hunter said, you got to know your numbers. And like he said, what gets measured gets done. So here at DCM, we actually have really invested a lot of time, money, energy, and everything into reporting. That we've been diving deep into this to make sure that we can have proper reporting for our clients. And a lot of our clients have not even gotten this yet because we've been working on it. So basically what we've done is really tried to beta this and make sure you guys have all the numbers you need to know from whether it's us, whether it's your other marketing company, or if you're doing your own marketing, you should know a lot of these numbers, because what gets measured gets done. So right now, this far, we've gone over a couple things here. We've gotten clear goals and targets for 2021. We've gotten some clarity around market message and media, the fundamentals. We've made sure our website is optimized for conversions. We've talked about converting more leads. Big shout out to Hunter for that one. And we've set up a simple KPI tracking dashboard. Let me go back a little bit. So you want to have something like this. Even if it's something simple in like Google Sheets that you have, like if you don't have a marketing agency, you're not doing really too much marketing, you should at least have an idea of your total leads, your total spend, your total cost per lead. What is your reach with direct mail? How many pieces am I sending out? How many phone calls? All these different things. If you're doing an SEO campaign, SEO takes time, but after a while, you want to determine like how many new visitors am I getting to my website? How many are converting? You want to know your numbers. So we've set up a simple KPI tracking dashboard. Next, I want to go over key trends in 2021. There's so many cool things that you can do offline, but here are some of the things that we see trending for 2021. Facebook and Instagram ads. There's been so much talk about Facebook and Instagram ads. I can tell you right now that you need to be advertising on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram can take time to get really well oiled and dialed in, in terms of targeting and testing. But you've got to be running Facebook and Instagram ads, and you got to be spending the right amount of money on it. YouTube ads. YouTube is actually something that is really, really, really cool. So imagine this: you could place your ad in front of any home improvement video that a consumer is watching. So they might be watching a video about deck staining, and boom, there's your painting ad, or there's your concrete coating ad. So something to keep an eye on in 2021. Nextdoor. Post a one in the chat if you use the app Nextdoor. I'm very curious about this one. I know my wife loves Nextdoor, and Nextdoor is going to be something that is going to take off in 2021, and I'll go over that here in a second. You must rank your website on all local searches. Okay. If you do business in multiple cities, you need to get your website ranking for each city. And there's different ways you can do that. You need to get your Google My Business, your Google Map ranking as well. You need to do retargeting. So I'll go over that in more detail, but you've got to be retargeting, and video. All of the the platforms have come out and said that they're gonna deliver video better than they are images. It doesn't mean that you can't deliver your ad well with images, but Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, obviously YouTube, but Facebook and Instagram mainly, they love video. So they're gonna give you some more juice if you have video. So what are Facebook and Instagram ads? Everyone probably knows what Facebook and Instagram ads are. If you don't, then you're missing out on the boat here. This is just some really quick screenshots of what they look like. You can make videos, headlines, different buttons, ad copy. You can do boosted posts. You can see here the craziness of engagement that you can get from boosting a post or running an ad on Facebook or Instagram. And you might ask yourself, why are Facebook ads powerful? Well, 2.7 million monthly active users. Facebook knows its users' interests and behaviors. It's kind of weird for the consumer, right? But it's really cool for the advertiser or the business owner. You can hyper target your potential customers. Again, this running ads online takes time. So in the beginning, you might get a little bit of the wrong customer, but as you go, you should be optimizing and trying to optimize for the better people. Facebook just released this new feature literally like last week. It's called a lead ad call feature. So if you know anything about Facebook ads, you can run a Facebook ad and then somebody can click on a button and then put in their information, their name, phone number, and everything. Now they just released a call button on that lead ad. So literally somebody sees your ad on Facebook and they just hit the call button and they can call you right away. So that's a really cool thing that should be tested. And then Facebook ads is where you can get your lowest cost per lead. So if you have really good sales processes, it's awesome to utilize because you're going to get lower cost leads than maybe, let's say Google ads or direct to mail or radio or billboards, things like that. Next is YouTube ads. What are YouTube ads? Some people don't really know what they are. When you go watch a YouTube video and that video that plays in the beginning, that's an ad. One of the cool things about YouTube ads is you do not get charged unless the consumer watches a specific amount of time of that video. So if, let's say somebody watches your video for like 4 seconds, you're not going to get charged. So in theory, they're going to watch the video. And if they watch it for a longer period of time, you can assume that they might be more interested than somebody that wouldn't. And then Google's going to charge you. Of course, if you click on the link here, in your ad, they're, you're going to get charged right there as well. Also, what you can do is you can put ads up here. So if somebody, in your area searches in the YouTube search bar, home improvement, painting, concrete coatings, epoxy flooring, things like this, you'd be surprised how, like the search volume in your area for these items. You can put an ad right here. It's similar to like a Google search ad. So we're seeing this take off. So it's something that you should do in the new year. So here's some stats. The average mobile viewing session on YouTube is 40 minutes. So it's important to be in front of that customer if they're interested in home improvements. Google knows its users better than anyone. It is insane how much they know about us. Who here has watched that Netflix documentary? Forgive me, I forget. It's about the algorithm, the social network. Post a privacy, like post the word privacy in chat if you've watched that. Let's see how many we get. Okay, here we go. Privacy for sure. Even if you're not posting and you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's kind of weird for the consumer, but for the advertiser, it's awesome. You can place your ads in front of your competitors' videos. Okay, this is crazy. So let's say your competitor has a YouTube channel. You can place your ad on their YouTube channel. So when anybody goes on YouTube and watches a video on your competitor's channel, you can place your video in front of their video. So you can ethically hijack their traffic. how awesome is that? So you can place an ad in front of your competitor's video. You can essentially hijack your competitor's traffic. Consumers are consuming video more than ever. So you want to be where video is consumed. You can target your customers by video topic, category, and keyword. So for example, like I did on the last slide, home improvement. So if anybody at any time searches anything home improvement, I'm going to put my ad there. And even if they don't convert right away and they click on the link and go to my website, now I'm going to track them with my Facebook tracking and I can retarget them. So they're on YouTube at night. They click my link, they go to my website. Well, then tomorrow they get a Facebook ad from me. So you can follow them around. So it's very, very powerful. Nextdoor. So I didn't see too many people that knew about Nextdoor, but Nextdoor is really, really cool. And here's kind of what the ad would look like on desktop and on mobile. So what is Nextdoor? Nextdoor is an app that's used by over 74, that its users are over 74% homeowners. So that's kind of nice, right? If you're doing home improvements, you want to make sure that you're talking to homeowners. Good thing is that on their app, over 74% of their users are homeowners. Here's a really cool one. 25% of all conversations are around recommendations for local businesses. So people in their neighborhoods are talking about, hey, I have this issue with my countertop. Does anybody know anyone that does countertops? Boom, your friend, your neighbor, everyone's posting in there. So you can deliver your ad to people who are actually looking for recommendations. It's hyper local. That's the cool thing with Nextdoor. It's super hyper local. Like I'm talking about in your zip code. And every user is verified by zip code. So it's a place to spend money, not a big budget, but a low budget. And you can find some bottom of the funnel people. The app is branded on trust. So, you're asking people for things and you're getting recommendations from somebody that lives 2 minutes from you. So, a lot of times what people are doing is like, they'll meet each other. Like, so like if there's like one person talking about hiring a plumber, they're asking for a recommendation. They might meet that person on a walk. And so it's branded on trust. So you should definitely be checking out Nextdoor in 2021. Also, you still need to rank your website. So you'll see here, just a quick screenshot. So when somebody searches for your services, Concrete Coatings Bakersfield, when they search exterior painting contractor near me, you want your website to rank organically. You want to capture all that organic ranking. If you don't, your competitors are getting those calls. People that search on Google like this are going to be kind of like middle to the bottom of the funnel people. Just because they're medium of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, doesn't necessarily mean they're your ideal customer per se, because they're searching on Google for a search term. So the wrong person could potentially search for that term too. But you want to be here and capture them and get them into your website, get them into your world. So you might ask yourself, why should I still rank my website when there's all of these different channels out here? Well, 87% of smartphone owners use a search engine. So you want to be there. You want to capture bottom of the funnel customers as they are searching for your services. Your website is your online marketing hub. So everyone will search you in the sales process. What's crazy too is that some people will move forward with us and they never went to our website. And then after they've become like a customer, we've done their install, they go back and say, oh gosh, like I was relieved, like I saw your website, and you're a trusted company. If they search you, like let's say somebody finds you on YouTube, like for an ad, and they go to your website and your website's not built to convert, it could hinder that sale. The first page of Google search results get 92% of all search traffic. So you want to be there. The number one Google search results get 32.5% of all search traffic. So going back to that, to that screenshot, if you're not on the first page of Google, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So you need to rank your website in 2021. Also, something that is really forgotten is your Google Maps, your Google My Business listing. Here's a keyword that we're ranking for in Scottsdale. It's a pretty searched keyword. Best concrete coating Scottsdale. If you search that, we are right here, number one. So we get a lot of organic calls, and you ask them, "Hey, how'd you hear about us?" "Oh, I searched around Google." That doesn't mean that it's always from your website. They say that over like a lot more people are going to be clicking in this 3-pack than your SEO rankings. So Google Maps is the preferred navigation app for 67% of consumers. You want to be there. The 3-pack shows up before SEO rankings. Let me go back on that real quick. So when somebody searches here, your Google My Business listing, your Google Maps listing is before SEO, is before your website. So you need to be up here. So the 3-pack shows up before SEO rankings. It's crazy. Ranking in the 3-pack means you're on page 1 of Google. So even if your website's not on page 1, if your Google My Business is, you're still going to be getting a lot of calls. 46% of searches on Google have local intent. So a lot of people have those long tail keywords: concrete coatings, Scottsdale; painting contractor, near me. Those long tail keywords, they're local. So they're looking for somebody in their area. They're most likely really, really close to you. And consumers click the call button on your Google Map listing. So most of these searches are going to be on mobile. Well, on your Google My Business listing, there's going to be a call button. So you get these calls. And so I know I really love a phone call. And so if you can rank your Google My Business, Google Map listing, you're going to get phone calls. Next, what is retargeting? What is cross-platform retargeting? Very, very basic form. There's a lot more to this, but very basic form. When somebody comes to your website and they don't convert right away, because we already know that there's a small percentage of people that will actually convert from "I visited your website" to calling you or to filling out a form. We can retarget them with Facebook ads. Okay. So you can follow customers who visited your website but didn't call or convert a form. 3 out of 4 customers notice retargeted ads. So you might ask yourself, I don't really want to, why should I retarget? I don't really like retargeting. I don't want to follow people around. Some people get, kind of weirded out. They don't want to retarget people. Well, 3 out of 4 people notice them. So it's not like it's a hidden thing. Like, people know that they're being retargeted. I know it all the time. When I go to Amazon, when I'm, shopping for things, I get retargeted. And you start to build that brand, that trust. You're following them around. You're in front of their face. Retargeted ads on Facebook are 76% more likely to get clicks than regular display. You get a lower cost per lead when you retarget. Move customers down the funnel and follow them around on the internet for business, of course, right? So it is kind of weird to follow people around on the internet, but if you think about it from a higher level, when somebody visits your website, when they find your Google Map listing, they click over to your website, they're not necessarily ready at that moment. But if you have a lot of the things dialed in that we're talking about, you can increase your conversion rate as high as possible. But you want to follow them around. Facebook allows you to follow people around for up to 180 days. So ideally, let's say somebody's just in the market and they have, just gotten into the market, they have questions. They come over, they haven't converted, but I can follow them around for 180 days. And hopefully, in theory, you're going to catch them when they're ready and get an opportunity to earn their business. Next is video. This is a funny one. Do you hate being on video? Most people hate being on video. Post the word video in chat if you hate being on video. Oh, and posted video. Jason posted video. Yep, I know it. So this guy right here, that's my older brother. And we had him get on video the other day. And he had never really been on video. And so in his eyes, the video that he shot wasn't that great. I can tell you right now, people consume that raw video better than professional video nowadays. If you have a professionally shot video. Let's say you paid a videographer $400 or $500 to shoot a video for you, and it was just perfect. Like it was just like 4K. I mean, everything was great. I can almost guarantee you that a raw video like this will perform better because people like doing business with people. So although a really nice professionally shot video for things like an application process or something like that, it's great to have those like really, really nice, professionally done, nice editing, things like that. But I'm talking about running a video for an advertising. Here's one of our clients in Texas. We shot this video with him and he's just like, hey man, check out this floor. We just did this floor. And it performed way better than any other ad. So start to get comfortable on video. If it's not yourself, it's one of your team members. So here's some stats. 80% of people remember what they see, while only 20% remember what they read. So if you have an ad, that's a text ad or an image ad, just remember that they might not necessarily recall that like they would see in your face talking about your business. Videos on social media are more effective in capturing your customers' attention. You can retarget people who have watched a video on social media, not an image. So our company, Davis Construction Marketing, we run, ads to get new clients into our world. And what we could do is I could send somebody a video and they could watch a video, and then I can retarget them. Let's say I could say, hey, I want to retarget people who watched 75% of my video or 30% of my video. So we do this, as well. So you could say, I'm going to run a video like my application process video, more like a 3-minute video. It's a great video. You could run that for what they call video views. You can have it run on a low budget, $5 or $10 a day. And then what you can do is you can run more like a more conversion ad and say, anybody that watched 75% of this video, I'm going to retarget with another ad and try to convert them. So in theory, anybody that watched the majority of that video is most likely pretty interested in what you do. So you can capture them and retarget them there. Videos build trust and brand awareness. And Facebook and other social media channels have come out and clearly said that the algorithm is going to favor video versus image for their users. So you got to be doing that. Now, number 4 here. We've talked about a lot today. And hopefully you're taking notes. So we've talked about a lot. Now let's build your 2021 plan and let's send this off with a bang. So your plan for 2021. This right here is something that we put together. It's called the Concrete Coating and Painting Digital Dominance Method. A lot of our clients, might be doing Facebook ads with us, Instagram ads. Some of them might be doing just SEO or just Google ads, whatever it may be. And I know sometimes it doesn't financially make sense to be doing everything all at once. It's not lost to me that we're all running a business and there's a marketing budget. But I would be doing everyone a disservice if I didn't go over what you all should be doing at all times. And it's kind of like a little wheel, you want to have a lot of these things in place. Does your website convert? Is it built to convert? Do you have proactive SEO? Are you actively trying to rank your Google Maps in your website? SEO and organic marketing campaigns take a lot of time. You can talk to people who have had a website for 3 years, and most likely their website is converting good because they've been doing SEO for 3 years. If you have an SEO campaign, it could take 4-6 months before it's really starting to rank for a lot of the relevant keywords. That's how SEO goes. But you got to start that process. That way, when the time comes and it's 6 months, 8 months, your website is ranking for all of the relevant keywords for your niche. Are you actively getting online reviews? Are you managing your reputation? Do you have a tool? Do you have a software that will automate that for you? Are you running Google ads? Just like SEO, and you're on page 1 of Google, you can run Google ads and get on page 1 of Google as well very, very quickly. You typically pay more for a lead with a Google ad, but you're grabbing that traffic. Are you running social media ads? Do you have KPI tracking? Are you tracking your numbers like what Hunter went over? So back to the notepad. Let's get some action items in place here. Your top 3 internet marketing initiatives that you need to implement to hit your 2021 goal. So you might look up toward the top of your notepad and say, well, my goal is 700,000. That's okay. You might be 1.5 million. You might be 15 million. You might be 20 million, whatever it is. There has to be, things that are clearly defined on what you're going to do to get to the next level. So writing down your top 3 internet marketing initiatives that you think are going to help you take your business to that next level in 2021, just write them down. It could be more than 3. But just take some time to write those down now or after the webinar and kind of get clear on those things. So I'd like to hear some more takeaways. I really appreciate everyone being interactive here. So what have you learned this far? What have you noticed? What would you like to share? You can drop that in the chat if you like, if you have something that's fresh on your mind. At the very minimum, you want to write it down right here so you can go over with your leadership team, or you can review your notes later on. But what were your takeaways? What are the things that are mustering in your brain? Like, gosh, I gotta get this done, or I want to change this, or I want to add this. You want to get those things written down. So here's what we've covered. We've set goals for 2021, how many leads we need, how many appointments we need, all of these details. The 3 fundamentals of marketing success. We talked about how to optimize your website for conversion in 2021 and beyond. We've talked about a lot of big picture stuff, right? How to understand all the online marketing channels you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow online. We've looked more of like a 30,000 foot view. We've talked about the latest trends that you must be aware of in 2021. Obviously, I don't have time to go over every single trend, but those are some of the top ones. And we've really developed a custom action plan. Hopefully you've been writing these things down. We've developed a custom action plan based on where you're at now and where you want to go and what you need now in place to do that. So if you guys have any questions, we'd love to talk with you. If you want to know how our programs work, we'd love to talk with you. If you have any questions, we'd love to talk with you. Danny, my right-hand man, he's on this Zoom as well. You can reach out to him directly. Danny, if you could drop in the chat the booking page link. So if anybody wants to talk with Danny or myself, you can book a call through that link. Danny will drop that in there. And Danny, if you can make sure that link is working, there's no issues with that link. And then also, I gave you guys an ethical bribe to stay at the end, right? And I'm gonna fulfill on that promise. So the first thing that I'm gonna give you is a free checklist. I put together this checklist on, literally you could check things off like of what you need. Here's some checklists. Is your website optimized for conversion? Is your website optimized for search engine rankings? Is your company optimized to rank on Google Maps? Are you taking advantage of paid online marketing? Are you running social media ads? Are you leveraging email and marketing automation? And do you have tracking in place to gauge your ROI? I also have our digital dominance method in there as well. So we're going to give this to you guys. Danny, if you could drop in the chat the link to the checklist, that way they can download this and print it out. I recommend that you guys print this out and mark on it and write on it. And then also we're going to give you guys anybody that gets on a call with us, talks about hiring Davis Construction Marketing to do their marketing, whether it's SEO, building a new website, Google My Business Optimization, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, whatever it may be. We're going to give you 20% off your first month of service. We don't normally do discounts either. So this is more of like hopefully a jump start into 2021, kind of like a Christmas holiday. We've been absolutely blessed here at DCM, so we want to take a little bit of money off the first month for you guys. So again, let's talk. Danny has dropped, let me check. Did you drop that link in the chat? Let's see.
Yeah, I did.
Yep. So that link right there. Here's your free strategy call link. You guys can click that. You can, I think it's going to ask you for your name, phone number, your company name. And we'd love to talk with you. And we'd love to be a resource for you guys and really help take your business to that next level. So again, free checklist, grab that, 20% off, and let's talk. Or you guys can just simply go to testimonials.codingandpaintingleads.com/book-your-strategy-call. I made it very, very difficult, so I'm not sure if you will remember that. So using the link will probably be easier for you guys. Danny, Natasha said, unable to download, takes to schedule a call. Danny, if you could get with her, with Natasha and try to. Oh, Jason said worked for me. Let's see here, Natasha. You know what? You might have clicked on the scheduling link versus the checklist link. Danny, can you drop that checklist link in there again for them, for Natasha? You could probably also send her a direct message as well.
Yes.
Sweet.
Just sent it to her.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, I know it's been a little while now that you guys have stuck on, so we really, really appreciate you guys. We thank you so much for really the opportunity to just talk strategy and really outline your internet marketing plan for 2021. Hopefully you guys get the free checklist. Hopefully you guys have been taking notes. And I just want to leave you guys with Yogi Berra again. He said, you've got to be careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there. So like, kudos to you guys for sitting on this webinar, for mapping out your plan, to getting clear on your goals. I can promise you that it is not going to be wasted time. It's going to be time well spent. So if you guys want to talk with us, go ahead and click that link. Besides that, you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you guys really, really soon.
Thank you, everyone.